I'm joined here now by Sandra Schulman. She's the Indigenous Arts and Entertainment columnist for ICT. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi.
Hey, Sandra, I understand you had a chance to meet Mr. Greene.
Yes, I met Graham many times over the years. Most memorably, I remember I sat with him in 2017. He was receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Fort Lauderdale Film Festival and also from the Seminole Tribe. And they had a big dinner and a ceremony to give him this award. They showed a bunch of clips from all of his career. He was very touched and very overwhelmed.
What was he like personally?
He was very gregarious. He was very quick. Nothing got by him. He was very generous with his time. Anybody that came up and wanted to talk to him, shake his hand, get a photo, he just made time for everyone. When they did meet and greets, there were more people in line for him than ever from anybody else, including Wes Studi and some of the newer actors like Zahn McLarnon, because it was multi-generational, it was some of the older people and then down to the younger people that had seen him in Reservation Dogs and then people that remember him from Dances with Wolves.
I wonder if you could tell me about, take off from there and tell me some of his memorable roles.
I think the one that really stuck out the most was his big role with his Kicking Bird in Dances with Wolves, where he played, as Costner calls him, a most magnificent looking fellow with feathers and the long hair. He had he had an interesting face. He had a very, I think, a kind of compassionate, open face. He wasn't really the stern, sort of stereotypical native chief guy, but he had a very commanding presence. He felt like he had a great sense of control and kind of a sense of peace about him, which really came through. So Kicking Bird was definitely a big role. Also, he there was a love scene with him and Tantu Cardinal, very discreet. They were under like a big buffalo robe, but you didn't see that in movies. I mean, you never saw native characters other than the ones getting killed by Indians, I mean, by the cowboys, particularly, in a love scene and very compassionate. So I think that really stuck out. And I really liked him in Clearcut, although that was a very striking, harsh role. He was playing an indigenous person who was fighting against the logging.
This is Indian land, Chief.
It was up in Thunder Bay in Canada, and he literally skins a guy alive, the logger, to say, "This is what you're doing to our Mother Earth. This is what you're doing to our trees here." It's a very, very powerful role. I mean, also Maximus, of course, on Reservation Dogs. He was a little bit kooky, but when you really listened to him, the things he was saying made a lot of sense.
How would you describe his impact, his legacy for the industry at large and for Indigenous artists?
I think he took a lot of chances. I think he had roles that were maybe not all showing him as a victim or popular, figure. I think also Thunderheart was a very strong role where he's, tangling with the FBI about this murder that was based loosely on the Annie Mae Aquash story. And there's a famous scene where he's riding away on a motorcycle, giving a finger to the feds, says Walter Crowhorse. I just think he really is relatable and very daring and just somebody that people they accepted him. Whatever role he was in, you believed in it and they accepted him. So I think that's a legacy for younger actors to take that kind of a risk.
Anything else you'd like to add, Sandra?
We'll miss him terribly. He was great fun to be around. He was so popular at these meet and greets and in public. I think he was very grateful for Reservation Dogs in particular. Sterling Harjo really gave him a role and introduced him to younger audiences. And he got to act with, Gary Farmer, who was his cousin, which I didn't even know until recently. And with Wes Studi and, some really the good old original actor guys that broke through back in the 70s, 80s, 90s. to pave the way for a lot of these new Indigenous actors. He'll be greatly missed.
Sandra, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Stuart.